Batman shows up and saves the day. Another cave-in occurs, killing the Earth Mover for good. This episode is not only disturbing for the look of the Earth Mover itself, but also the scenario of meeting a long-lost family member who is completely unhinged. The preconceived notion that they'll be whoever you created in your head, being completely shattered, must be a truly terrifying situation to be in. Kudos to the writing team. They could have easily made the adopted father the true villain and have him be a complete asshole. But instead they showed that both sides are both equally in the wrong and in the right.
Oh my god, man.
All Grown Up was a weird show. Take the Rugrats, age them up 10 years, and
Oh
put them
yeah,
in
Bernie.
uncomfortable situations, like watching Tommy try to make it with a girl.
Oh yeah, Bernie.
Rugrats when it comes to weird and disturbing moments. But we're here to talk about the one time All Grown Up managed to get on that level. This moment comes to us from the two-part episode Interview with a Campfire, in the form of a character called Bean Matson. Bean is a character who appears only in the special and introduces the kids to Camp Everwood, telling the tales of all things scary that supposedly took place at the camp. Tommy finds it the perfect opportunity to create his horror movie, but things get too real when kids begin to go missing. Toward the climax, it's revealed that Bean is no ordinary boy, and is in fact the ghost of a boy who died in 1871 along with other settlers due to an extremely cold winter. Bean was most likely searching for the souls of other dead settlers, and thanks to Dill and the others, he was finally able to be put to rest. But not before giving them one good scare. At the end of the episode, the gang reviews the footage they took for the horror movie, when a scene shows up that none of them filmed. The scene shows Bean levitating with red eyes saying, "Don't ever got no brain or nothing." I have no idea what that means, but it sure scared the hell out of the Rugrats. Supernatural beings are not really ever mentioned at the Rugrats, the only other one being Lil Q from the All Grown Up Valentine's Day episode. It's a strange moment, and a disturbing one at that. Bean was clearly happy with their help, so I guess he decided to freak them out for shits and giggles.
Resident Evil.
When it comes to disturbing moments,
Resident
spades. Our entry from this series is disturbing for two reasons. One taking place in the context of the show, and one in real life. In the episode Dark Harvest, Zim finds that none of his organs resemble that of a human's at all, which causes problems when he gets a case of head visions and has to go to the nurse. Realizing that the nurse will discover his alien organs, Zim decides to steal the organs of humans in the school, putting inanimate objects in their place.
Well, be sure not to fall until I get the mattress directly underneath you.
Well, hurry up! This thing isn't going to hold out much longer.
Won't be a minute.
Organs of almost every student in school. Zim is now a fat, blobby mess, oozing fluids and intestines, almost bursting at the seams. It's a disgusting and disturbing sight, and it begs the question how Nickelodeon even approved this episode. The subject matter is just so far removed from anything Nick has ever dealt with. It's absolutely bizarre. While the episode is dark and disturbing in its own right, things get even darker when we take a look at Scott Dulesky. On October 15th, 2005, Dulesky murdered his neighbor, Pamela Vitali. He was a minor at the age of 16 at the time, so he did not qualify for the death penalty and was instead sentenced to life in prison with no chance of parole. During the trial, it became increasingly evident that Dulesky was fascinated with organs and often talked about breaking children's necks and wondering how the human body would function without certain organs. This episode of Invader Zim was brought up during the trial, drawing attention to certain comments he made after watching said episode. However, the two teens that testified stated that he was just joking about those comments. Although, those same teens also stated that he is not violent, and that's clearly false. So, could this episode of Invader Zim have actually inspired a real-life murder? It's hard to say without any conclusive evidence, but it's entirely possible that it didn't help if those ideas were already present in Dulesky's mind.
Batman the Animated Series is well known for being incredibly mature and treating its audience with respect and integrity. Some heavy themes are addressed in this show, and its willingness to never speak down to kids is one of the reasons why it has become, in the eyes of many, the definitive animated version of the Caped Crusader. Of course, in not shying away from more mature and dark themes, some disturbing moments naturally come with the territory. Given how many there are throughout the series, we will be focusing on 3 of them as opposed to just 1. The first of these moments comes to us from the episode On Leather Wings. In this episode, we are introduced to the Man-Bat, a creature who is being mistaken for Batman. Man-Bat is actually a researcher named Kirk Langstrom, who was transformed into the creature after an experiment researching bats as the next evolutionary step went wrong. When Kirk reveals who he is to Batman, he then transforms right before his eyes, complete with demonic laughing, close-ups of his teeth, and his body changing while his clothes rip off to reveal his new terrifying form.
Skipping school does not compute. How will we achieve our daily required level of data input?
Oh, please. You'll learn more in one day playing hooky than you will in a whole semester of school.
As long as we don't get caught. Shh! I think I hear the bus.
You guys coming today or what?
Oh, man, you can see us.
Yeah, I can hear you too. You coming or not?
No. You see, we're actually gonna get a ride from my mom.
Next moment is about Bane, from the episode, well, Bane. This episode introduces us to the titular character, the man who vows to break the bat. If you are aware of Bane, then you know he uses chemically engineered venom in order to become super strong. Well, in the climax of the episode, Batman breaks Bane's venom tube, causing an obscene amount to enter his bloodstream. This is far too much for him to handle, and his muscles grow to a grotesque size. All the while his veins and eyes are popping out while he screams in pain.
No, I do not. I am operating perfectly.
What? What was that, Mrs. Jones? Mrs. Jones?
What are you doing? System malfunction! Oh, please try calling later.
Huh?
Good one, Socks. What if he does try calling later?
He's not gonna call. You did fine, Socks. Hey, I'm thirsty. Let's go get a super cooler.
Something's fishy about those last 4
Thankfully,
calls.
Batman unplugs the tubes, but for a moment there, it seemed like we were about to witness an overdose on screen. Our last moment comes from the episode The Laughing Fish, in which the Joker unleashes a toxin into the Gotham City harbor that causes all the fish to mutate into a Joker fish with a big toothy smile. Turns out the chemical is non-lethal to humans, and the Joker simply wishes to trademark the fish and gain a percentage over all that are sold. A worker at the harbor tells the Joker that fish cannot be trademarked since they are a natural resource, to which the Joker responds with a threat. Later on, the Joker follows through on that threat and sends a toxic gas into the home of the worker. Upon breathing it, the worker begins to chuckle, which slowly grows and grows into an insane laugh, reminiscent of the Joker.
Oh, well, since I'm out, I guess a super cooler wouldn't be out of order.
He's not even in there, man. He must have slipped out the back.
God, we totally got ripped off.
His face, you can tell by the look in his eyes how much pain he's in. Batman shoots him with an antidote, but the image will forever be burned in our skulls. Exactly how much pain is the Joker actually in? We will never know. And maybe that's for the best.
One
One time, Nickelodeon made